Hey everyone, it's been a while. I just wanted to first apologize because last week I had a really tough choice to make whether I went to San Francisco to meet up with some Axie people and the Axie team or made a video. I ended up deciding going to San Francisco because it's a great thing for community to be able to participate in these events. And just to share a little bit about what happened there, most of the team members, all of them were just sharing about their different roles in the project of Axie. Some of them are focused on Roan, some of them are focused on governance, others are just focused on like marketplace. So everyone's working on multiple things at the same time. And the one thing I could tell you about the team is that they're really excited for what's coming. But anyways, guys, let's get down to business. The ear cards came out last week, and I've had a lot of time in these last few days to really get into some more theories and ideas about what's going to happen in Origin. So anyways, with that said, let's get started. All right, first up, we got the Reptile cards. Let's get started right here. 1 energy, 20 heal, Freezard. Randomly apply 4 times to your team. Heal and apply 1 damage boost each time. So basically, this is just trying to say that it's basically a very strong support card. It does it 4 times. That means you're gonna get at least like 80 heal from this spread out, and you apply 1 damage boost each time. And Shade recently in the Discord talked about damage boost. It's not gonna be a percentage increase. It literally seems like from what he leaked, it's right here. It says apply 1 damage boost each time. So whoever gets the buff, whoever gets this lands on, it'll add 1 damage to their all their cards or whatever, all the cards that Axie owns. So I have a feeling it's like that, but I could be wrong. But just an observation from what Shade said. And someone brought up that this card, Freezard, might have to do a little bit with Frieza from DBZ, but it's up to you to figure that one out. Next one, it says 1 energy, small frill. It's a skill, and it says apply 3 poisons to all enemies. Heal this Axie for 30 HP. So it heals the Axie that uses it or that has the card, and it apply 3 poisons to all enemies. Another poison card, very similar to other poison effects, and it applies to everyone. So once you get all these poison decks going, it's going to be very annoying, I feel. Swirl is a skill card, 1 energy. It says shuffle 3 confused into your opponent's discard pile. This card has no stats, but you shuffled confused into the opponent's discard pile. We're gonna have to see how what confused ends up being, but I'm really excited to see because a lot of these negative debuffs or effects, we don't know what they are really. I think they call these curses actually, so we're gonna have to see what that is. 1 energy, 50 damage, sidebar, apply 2 poison and bleed for 4 turns to a random enemy. So this has a lot of like it's really good for 1 energy. You not only get 50 damage, you also a little bit less than the average, which is 60. You get 2 poison on them and bleed for 4 turns. So, but the only negative is to a random enemy. So if you don't care who you're attacking, this could be really good. Next one, we got 1 energy, 60 damage, Pagona. It's another ear card here. Apply fragile for 4 turns. So not only do you do damage, you prevent him from really being able to like gain a lot of defense. So it seems like you're going to weaken their defense a lot with this card. Next up, we got 1 energy, 60 defense, Curb Spine. Target an ally next turn after the target's attack. Apply bleed to the attacker for 4 turns. So it's a defensive way of applying bleed to the opponent. Definitely different from the other ones that you attack and you give the bleed effect. This is a more delayed effect for sure. Next up, we got the birds. The birds, first one, Pink Cheek. 0 energy, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many, and then banish this card. So basically, very good utility. If you get a bad draw for 0 energy, you can redraw 2 cards and possibly move cards you need more for late game, move them back. So very good utility. The only negative is that it gets banished, so you only get 1 shot with it, but it thins out your deck. So if ultimately you just want like to be able to get a better draw at the start, this is a really strong card, Pink Cheek. I honestly think it's one of the strongest I've seen. Next up, Little Owl right here. 1 energy, 60 damage. And this is very interesting. It does confirm what I was saying before, that the owls will all be connected. And in this case, Owl the ear became Little Owl. So I think they're going to make a change to Owl's text to become Little Owl. And it's now going to be 60 damage. And it's works similar to Nutcracker. The more you use the Owl cards, the more the damage will go up on this one energy card. Maybe potentially getting over 100 damage if you are able to use enough of these Owl cards for that Axie. That's pretty cool. And also, the art is amazing right here. Really, really cool art for this one. So next up, we got Peacemaker. It's a 1 energy, 60 damage. Apply weak for 2 turns. If the target previously has weak, deal 15 more damage. So it has the potential of doing 85 damage. And as we know, we have another Peacemaker mouth. And those two combo well together because once one applies weak, the other one can gain the bonus. So if you're able to get that going, you can get a good combo of damage going for that one. Here we go. Early Bird, 1 energy, 65 damage. If initial, draw 1 card. That's so strong. If initial, so any of these draw cards, I always say them as insta strong. 65 damage is really good for this one. So very good utility and obviously matches with the wording Early Bird. Here we got Curly, 1 energy, 65. It says deal 25 more damage to shield. So Curly is like indirectly like Pliers, the bug version of this. And that's really cool that they made another card that's similar. There's a lot of cards that will have the same effect, but the bonus will be like what class is the card? Is it a bird class? Is it a bug class? That will matter for the runes. So having multiple options of the same card is a good thing for the game. And you can see Curly right here is an alternate for Pliers if you don't want to use Pliers. And next up, we got Risky Bird, 1 energy, 90 damage. That's a lot of damage. Apply weak to this Axie for 2 turns. So basically, it matches with the other risky meta that we see. All the risky cards tend to have the same effect. A lot of damage, but you get weak applied to you for 2 turns, which is a negative for sure. Next up, we got the bugs. Here we got 1 energy, 10 heal, Tassels, it's an ear card, of course, skill. Heal your team. Heal for 4 bonus HP per card in your hand. So this has the potential of going up in the amount of heal, and it's an AoE heal, like everyone in your team gets healed. So it has a lot of potential. I don't know how many cards you potentially can have in your hand, so that's what the limiting factor is. But 1 energy for an AoE heal, that could be really powerful, especially against certain decks that do AoE damage. So definitely. Next up, we got Larva, 0 energy, scry 2 cards, gain 1 energy if discard 1 skill card upon scrying. So basically scry, it kind of confirms the mechanic that I was thinking it would be. Scrying would mean like you look at the top 2 cards and then you could put the ones that you don't like towards the bottom of your deck and keep the ones you want on top, so out of those 2 cards. And in this case, if you're able to discard a skill card when you scry, like you'll gain an energy. So 0 cost, you gain an energy and you're able to better like set up your deck for later. That's a really powerful effect. And next up, we got Earwing, 1 energy, 20 damage. Attack all enemies. Deal 3 bonus damage per card in your hand. So basically, some of these cards will really benefit a lot from having big hands. So being able to draw a lot of cards into your hand. And this could be really deadly. Getting more damage. Let's say if you have 5 cards, you get 15 damage, 35 damage to everyone with 1 energy. That's really strong. How you get so many cards in your hand, that's going to be a big question for sure with this one. We got Ear Breathing, 2 energy, 30 damage. Randomly deals 4 hits, so total it will do 120 damage, which is typical for a 2 energy cost. Shuffle 1 goo per enemy hit into the opponent's discard pile. So we don't know what goo means, but honestly, if you're shuffling that many into a deck, if let's say it has the potential to put 4 right away with 1 use of this. So if goo's really powerful, this card's gonna be really powerful. So right here we have Beetle Spike. I always like the look of this part. It's 1 energy, 45 damage. Deal pure damage. Apply bleed for 4 turns. Apply bleed for 4 turns is normal, but the damage is kind of low on this one. So this first effect has to be something very powerful. We've been trying to discuss it on Twitter, but we haven't really gotten much further. I had a theory about what this could mean, though. So far, we haven't been leaked a lot of stuff about runes, and I have a suspicion that some of the runes that some of the classes have will add like a percentage defense against like certain attacks and stuff like that. So this card will be a card that will just go through those things. Like it won't let you it won't matter what defenses you have towards certain cards, or like a 5% defense against all damage. This will just still do the same amount. So it could be potentially be very strong depending. And some people even thought that this card might directly attack into your opponent, but I feel the phrasing would have been a little different. So we're going to have to see what this truly means. The last up, we got Leaf Bug, 1 energy, 45 defense. Whenever this card drawn, gain 30 shield. So basically, this confirms both leaf bugs work almost exactly the same, and the leaf bugs are really, really strong. I feel like early game, they're really powerful, and being able to just have an effect by being drawn, I feel makes this card really, really powerful. We're going to have to see how strong defense is, but if you have something that just needs to tank and hold on, this might be the right set of cards you might need going forward. So we got the beast cards here, and usually they're more like damage focused, but here you see the ears, they have a lot of healing and skills going on, so we're going to check them out. First up is 1 energy, 65 heal. If initial, the Axie meditates. Meditates, we don't know what it is, but I was just researching a little bit, and in Slay the Spire, there's a mechanic called meditate, and in this mechanic, it allows you to go to your discard pile, move a card from your discard pile into your hand, and add retain to that card. So if meditate works like that, that's going to be a really strong mechanic, and it could just set up for some combos later on if the card does have retain. We're not sure yet, but that's what I found so far. Here we go. We got Puppy, 1 energy, 25 heal. Heal your team. If initial, remove 1 curse card from your deck. So Puppy, basically, like I said on Twitter, Puppy looks like it's going to be definitely a support card, healing everyone in your team, plus removing curse cards from your deck. And I believe curse cards are those cards that are created by putting them into your discard pile, those negative cards. So this is going to be a way to counter those, like your deck just being filled with those cards. And Puppy is the way, and also amazingly cute art. It's really cute right here. Okay, next up we got a very interesting card, Innocent Lamb. It says 1 energy, skill banish, and here's the effect. It says select and add 1 copy of this Axie skill card to your hand, and then banish this card. So basically what it's saying is you get to copy any card inside of your deck that Axie owns. So you have to, it has to be with Innocent Lamb. Whoever has Innocent Lamb has to have the skill card. But this could make it so you can get some very powerful skill cards and get another copy of it in your deck instead of having Innocent Lamb. So if you see a skill card that you want to play more often, and there's some skill cards that add things to your deck, like Hot Butt, I've seen, that could make this card really strong, and borderline, it could get a little bit broken if it's a little bit too strong, but you are using 1 energy to do it. So we're going to have to see how it works. Like, this is more for late game builds for sure, I feel, like being able to access this. But like I said, it has to be on the same Axie that has Innocent Lamb. The skill card has to be on this one for it to work. So we're going to have to see how this mechanic works, but it's awesome. Like, being able to copy a card opens up so much utility for this. Here we go. Believers here. Justin Bieber maybe related. 1 energy, 20 damage, randomly deal 3 hits, gain 1 rage per hit. We haven't seen a lot of rage cards in this set, but here's the first rage card. So you can gain 3 rage for this. So that's very powerful. And this is going to be one of the main staples for, I feel, for rage, like rage decks. And we're going to have to see how it works, but it's an insta add, I feel, for anyone who's trying to build rage. Three rage from 1 card, and it does 60 damage. That's not bad. I think that's really strong. Here we got 1 energy, 60 damage, another Nutcracker, and basically it just does the same as other Nutcrackers. It just gains more damage, 6 damage every single time you use one. So it completes the set pretty much right here. And just a funny little Easter egg about Nutcracker is that Masamune said out of all the cards that were worked on for Origin, this is one that for sure was made by him. So he drew this one. So shout out to Masamune for making this card. Very interesting. Next up, we got 1 energy, 65 damage, Neon. And it says deal 15 bonus damage against bleeding enemies. So basically anything that has the bleed effect on it, this is on automatic 80 damage, 1 energy, 80 damage. That's really strong. No negative effect. You just got to set up a bleed deck for it. So we arrived at the aquatic cards, and usually these have a lot of utility, a lot of power. Overall, generally good cards. Here we got Nemo, 0 energy, 25 heal, gain 1 energy if this Axie's HP is full. So basically, you need to have an Axie that's not getting hit, and it has 1 energy. So it'll gain you 1 energy in that case. If not, it will just do the 25 heal. So basically, converting this 0 to 1 energy to use in a combo could be really strong. Not as strong as the other Nemo, but who knows? Maybe the other Nemo will get balanced to match this one in some way. And very, very interesting mechanic for sure. Here we got Tiny Fin, 0 energy, draw 1 card, gain 3 damage boost. So like I said, damage boost probably adds damage to the Axie, and it says draw 1 card. So basically the main utility of it, you get a you basically just gain back the card that this got, but you're adding 3 damage boost to the Axie that this belongs to. So I think that's really cool. Next one, 1 energy, 50 damage. Gil, it says the team gains 1 bubble. And bubble is a mechanic we don't know about just yet, but Shade, of course, again, made a comment on the Discord and says that bubble will work sort of like rage in a way. He said it's an attack modifier, so it's going to make you do more damage. So we're going to have to see how this bubble mechanic really plays out. But as we know, there's been a lot of cards referencing bubble, and obviously this is another card for sure. Here we got 2 energy, 110 damage, Sea Slug, cleanse, 2 debuffs, gain 2 cleansers. So basically, the big utility is big damage, and it does a lot of debuffing, removing of debuffing, and gaining 2 cleanse. So defense against other debuffs that you might get. We're gonna have to see how strong debuffs are in this game to see if cleanse will really be used a lot. But I have a feeling that if they're making cards to counter it, there's probably going to be a lot of debuffs in the game. Here we got Inkling, 1 energy, 60 damage. It says shuffle 1 Jinx into your opponent's discard pile. So basically another like curse, what it looks like a curse that's going into the opponent's deck. We're going to have to see what Jinx actually does, but it is a negative card, of course. Anything being added to your opponent's deck is usually not a good thing. Here we got 1 energy, 50 defense, Bubble Maker, target any ally. The target gains 2 bubbles. So these bubbles look like they're stacking up. You can stack up bubbles. We're gonna have to see what the mechanic is. Shade made me really excited to see what bubble is, and also how rage works. All these like mechanics we haven't yet been able to play with. And last up, we got the plants. Here's a 1 energy, no stats, Clover. It says skill, summon 1 Clover. So I'm assuming that's a Clover right there. And we're going to have to see what a Clover is or what it does. Summons, we haven't really seen how to utilize summon, but for some things that Shade talked about were that summons are really good at outplays. So they might have a lot of utility. We're going to have to see how they work. But until then, that's all I can say about this card. Next one, we got 0 energy, 5 damage, innate. So innate means it starts in your starting hand. Apply 2 poison, sleep for 2 and sleep for 2 turns to a random target. Banish. So depending on what sleep really is, if it works like sleep now where you can just go through the opponent's defense, it might be really good. And innate, so you'll always have this ready in your hand to use. You only get 1 use of it though, because it gets banished once you use it, and then you apply 2 poison. So definitely has a little bit of everything. For 0 energy, all these 0 energy cards always like make me think they're really strong for sure. Next we got Hollow, 0 energy, and look at that art. That art's kind of scary actually. It says this Axie loses 675 HP. Summon a trunk. Another summon card that requires you to sacrifice almost like a third of your HP. So we're gonna have to see this card in action, and this trunk, I'm assuming this is a trunk, has to be pretty good because losing that much HP without getting any real benefit is gonna be key. But for 0 energy, that's see, this one had 1 energy, this has 0 energy, so we're gonna have to play test this a little bit. We got here another power. I've seen very few of these powers, but here it says Sakura, 2 energy. It says target any ally. Whenever you play a card this battle, heal this Axie 10 HP. So it's kind of similar to another mechanic we saw earlier with Bumpy, where it would increase its defense every single time you play a card. Here it heals its HP. Which one's better? We'll have to see. But being able to heal I don't see it as strong sometimes. Maybe in late game, it's definitely more valuable. So we're gonna have to play test this one more as well to see which one is better, Bumpy or Sakura. So this one's a little bit interesting. Leafy, 0 energy, 10 damage. Randomly hits, deals 2 hits. So it does 20 damage to a random target. Consume up to 3 leaves. So that's another mechanic we don't know about. Leaves to deal 5 damage per leaf consumed. So if I'm reading this correctly, it's a little confusing. 15 bonus damage, so 25 damage. Is that saying it does 50 damage? Because you do 25 plus 25. We're gonna have to see what this does, but if it does 50 damage, 0 energy, wow, that's strong. But you have to collect these leaves too, so it does have a condition to it. And last one, we got one of the few cards that I've seen that has defense and heal. 1 energy cost, Lotus. Very good probably for tanks who want to defend themselves, and also heal up in case their defenses have already been attacked earlier. So very good utility. Anyways, guys, those were all the ear cards from Axie Origin. Honestly, it's been really cool seeing the ears that we've known for years to actually get their corresponding card associated with them. And honestly, it makes me really excited for the eyes coming up. And the eye cards, you know, some say it's one of the most important things to have is your eyes. And we're gonna have to see what they come up with for the eyes. I'm really excited, and I just can't wait to play test all this together. They're really like setting us up like with all this information, but nothing beats the experience of actually getting to play Axie Origin. As usual, if you like this video, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. It always helps me out. And anyways, that ends it for this video. Take care, and I'll see you guys all next time.